Well, switching gears up now, but staying in the football vein, if Rod Black was that. Jason Langvee joins us. He's from the CFL Players Association Academy. He's the program manager. I welcome him back to the show. How you doing, Jason? The academy's all wrapped up. Am I correct in saying that?
I would say the academy is undergoing its busiest season ever. The academy itself, I think the mentorship was a big portion that you chatted with a few of our members with, but we've got ongoing programming all off season and even throughout the season for our members. So I appreciate for the chance to be here and thanks very much for the opportunity.
I apologize. I misspoke. You're right. So the mentorship in terms of the Toronto experience for those players has wrapped up. Sorry, yeah, the academy continues. How did it go, and what can you tell our viewers and football fans about what went down and why this is so important?
So the mentorship itself is it's now in its third, or just finished its third year, and it's something that I think it stands for a lot, right? The collaboration between the players and the league to be able to work on something like this, to be able to show that the players have an opportunity beyond playing to stick around this ecosystem. We know and love them as players, as personalities, and I think it's integral to the growth of our game to keep those individuals that are passionate about the game in some way, shape, or form around. And so we just wrapped up year 3, and thanks to the amazing team over at the league, they basically put on 3 full days in the office of kind of breaking down each individual facet of the league, if it's finance, if it's ticket sales, if it's going through sponsorship, etc. It culminated, they got to go to TSN for the day and talk to the crew with CFL on TSN, and then they also had a chance to basically run the day for the regional combine in Waterloo. So a lot of the guys were counting reps at the bench press and were making sure the stopwatches were for the 40. And so I've heard nothing but shining things from the members. I spoke to Richie Leone last week, and he was very, very happy with everything that went through. And I know that he's one of those faces that we've had around the game for a long time. I can see him around the game. What do you think, Rod?
He'll be a model, if nothing else. Just ask him. But here's the thing, Jason. I know we're going kind of fast here, but this is the Players Association Academy. This is a mentorship for life after football, or maybe even during football if they can find the time. Jason, you know that I was in the league for a very long time and still have a close association. I know or knew of very few players that had ever even thought about life after football. They just hadn't thought about it. And guess what happens when it ends? Catastrophe. And by the way, the guys that did have a plan for life after football, even when they were playing, have gone on to be some of the most successful business guys I know. But not everybody's like that. So I'd love to know where the idea of the academy started, and quite frankly, who should get the credit, because I think it's fantastic.
Well, I really appreciate that on behalf of all the team that's put a lot of time into building this. I think I've been around the association in parts and parcel for a little while. Since about 2012, I got to see the start of social media and obviously the change of the way that we promoted the game and all of those portions. And that opened up communication in a way that we never had as well, right? To have feedback one-to-one rather than just through the player reps and historically even potentially harder at times when you've got disjointed groups that you can't meet with constantly. So throughout that time, we heard and we heard again that there needed to be something the association offered. If it was just resume prep, if it was just interview skills, something to consider what life after football looked like. Brian Ramsey oftentimes quotes the number, but it's 2.9 years still if we look at it as the average playing career in the CFL of our members. And so that is, I think if you look at the normal distribution, there's going to be individuals that play at 10 years like Richie and those Jake Thomases of the world. And there's a lot of individuals that might not get a chance to get to year 2 or year 3. And so to consider that you don't always have the choice of when football ends, despite it being your primary focus, is something that I think we had to kind of maybe come together as a culture shift to a certain extent. And I don't know necessarily what the catalyst was, so to speak. I think COVID probably was a portion of it. But since 2016, which is when the academy was initially founded, I've just seen that members understand now that empowering yourself beyond the game oftentimes doesn't limit what you can do on the field in terms of a performing athlete. In fact, oftentimes if your family life is at balance and you know that there's a rock solid foundation, you might be able to perform even better. And I think the story that's jumped out to me recently is Larry Dean, who just got retired and graduated, as they say, into the Riders organization, and he got to choose that. I think is how he basically framed it, and I think that's a powerful message, because if you've got something to choose to go from good to great, it's hard to imagine life doesn't get better.
There's a player rep, Larry Dean, formerly of the Rough Riders. He's moved to the front office. He's a Georgia product for our listeners on WQEE. I can't remember the town. It's like Hollow, Georgia or something. Help me out, Ryan O'Radio. Down in the southern part of the state. Do you have anything else about the academy before I ask you your thoughts on Grey Cup? Anything else, Jason?
So the one thing that we're going to be going live today, and an exciting one, is another big interest that our members have that I didn't know existed until a few years ago, is firefighting. And so last year we had the first round of essay-based scholarships with our firefighting support certification and training division. We were fortunate enough to send 4 individuals through that program on a full scholarship. This year we've doubled that, and so we're going to be having 8 individuals go through on full scholarship to become certified firefighters, like Mr. Rene Paredes, who is still suiting up and fighting fires, and guys like Mike Riley, who did it before him.
And Braden Lenius, Regina kid, and I think engaged to the daughter of a very close friend of mine. So these are all really good people. Tifton, Georgia is where he's from. Thank you, Ryan O'Radio. Tifton, Georgia. Because he said to me, if you spell it backwards, it's not fit. Why I got Hollow, Georgia out of that, I don't know. But what do you think, Jason, as a CFL stakeholder steward as you are with the Players Association, that Hamilton Grey Cup would win the event of the year from, what is it? I don't know the association, Canadian Tourism and Sport or something
Prestige,
like that. Whatever it is, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was fortunate enough. I've been at a lot of Grey Cups, and I think in 21, where they had the scaled down version, I sensed there was this enthusiasm that when they had the opportunity to do it right, it was going to be a show for the ages. And I wasn't disappointed either as a stakeholder. We had a few footprints in and around the week. We have our kids camp that was a major success. We connected with Football Ontario and had close to 200 families sign up in less than 2 hours to be able to come and play football with our guys. We had our headquarters that was sponsored by Sask Polytech again last year, and yeah, just the opportunity to meet and greet fans, have our members chat. I'm always as a fan of the game, but someone that gets to interact with these players more than the lay fan. I'm always taken aback at how much time every conversation seems to take, because there's never a bad conversation that a fan has with a player, and especially with the rivals. You have your Riders fans come up and talk to the Blue Bombers. It starts off contentious, and then they're sharing beers by the second or third conversation point, and it's always it's probably my favorite Canadian party, and it makes sense that the Hamilton Grey Cup earned that nod.
I congratulate everybody involved. It was a sharp group, and they really pulled it off. You're a sharp guy too, Jason. I appreciate you coming on. Anything you need, you know where to find us. Keep it going.
More than appreciate that. I got to get you some more Team CFLPA merch. I know you wear it proudly, and it's more than appreciated.
You know where to find me. I'll be here. I'll put it on. Thank you. Jason Langvee joins us, CFL Players Association Academy Program Manager.